Right now, depending on which state you're standing in, you may be breaking the law by carrying a mousetrap in your pocket, singing off-key after sunset, or owning more than two cats. These aren't historical relics. They're enforceable statutes that exist today. One law on this list has actually been used to arrest someone in the last decade. You'll know it when we get there. Let's go. Number 1. It's illegal to frown in Milan. Milan, Ohio, birthplace of Thomas Edison, maintains an ordinance making it illegal to frown in public spaces. Officers technically have authority to issue warnings. The law originated from a 1950s beautification campaign that was never repealed. What's genuinely unsettling is that legally mandating emotional expression in public has a name: effective governance. Several countries currently enforce it seriously. Number 2. Alaska bans waking a sleeping bear for photos. Alaska Statute 16.05.920 explicitly prohibits disturbing wildlife for photography, including waking hibernating bears. This sounds obvious until you realize it kept happening. Tourists were documented entering dens. Rangers reported repeat incidents across multiple parks. The fine reaches $10,000. Alaska is now one of the few states where selfie-related wildlife crimes carry felony-level charges under certain conditions. Number 3. In Tennessee, you cannot hold public office if you've dueled. Tennessee's Constitution, Article 9, Section 3, bars anyone who has dueled from holding public office. The provision survived every constitutional revision. Legal scholars confirm it remains enforceable. What complicates it further, the word duel was never legally modernized, leaving open questions about whether certain competitive disputes could qualify under the original 1870 statutory language. Number 4. In Rhode Island, biting off someone's leg is a lesser crime than biting off an arm. Rhode Island Criminal Code distinguished between biting off different limbs, assigning separate sentencing guidelines to each. Legal historians trace this to 18th century maritime law, where sailors losing specific limbs faced different compensation. The disparity was codified into criminal statute and never reconciled. Courts have quietly avoided cases that would force judges to address this anatomical sentencing gap. Number 5. In California, it's illegal to eat an orange in a bathtub. A California law traces to early 1900s health codes, when officials believed citric acid mixed with bathwater created a dangerous compound. The science was completely wrong. The ordinance was never challenged because nobody prosecuted it. What's more troubling than funny? Hundreds of similarly unfounded health laws from the same era remain embedded in California municipal codes today. Number 6. In Florida, it's illegal to sing in a public place while wearing a swimsuit. Sarasota, Florida's municipal code. Section 14-29 prohibits singing in public while wearing a swimsuit, created during 1930s decency campaigns targeting beach communities. Enforcement was inconsistent but documented. Similar ordinances in neighboring counties were used as late as 1994 to remove street performers. The Sarasota version technically remains active in the current municipal database. Number 7. In New York, throwing a ball at someone's head is illegal. A New York statute from 1897 prohibits throwing a ball at someone's head for amusement. It was drafted after a Coney Island carnival game where participants hurled baseballs at human targets for prizes. The game caused documented fatalities. The phrase, "for amusement," has since been cited in modern liability discussions around competitive gaming events. Number 8. In North Dakota, beer and pretzels cannot be served together. North Dakota law prohibits serving beer and pretzels simultaneously, a Prohibition-era statute designed to eliminate drinking triggers. Lawmakers believed salty snacks accelerated alcohol consumption, constituting facilitated intoxication. No enforcement has been recorded since 1987. However, the law was never formally struck from the books, leaving establishments technically exposed during any comprehensive licensing audit. Number 9. In Georgia, it's illegal to keep a donkey in a bathtub. Paulding County, Georgia banned donkeys in bathtubs after a 1924 incident where a merchant's donkey fell asleep in an unused tub, flooded during a storm, and required a 6-man county rescue. The operation became a regional embarrassment. The law passed within 2 weeks and remains Georgia's most cited example of reactive municipal legislation. Number 10. In Wisconsin, margarine cannot be served as a butter substitute without a formal request. Wisconsin Statute 97.18 prohibits restaurants from serving margarine instead of butter unless a customer explicitly requests it. The dairy industry lobbied this into law in 1953 and blocked every repeal for decades. Wisconsin also banned margarine outright from 1895 to 1967, the longest sustained food prohibition in American history outside alcohol. 10 laws in, and we haven't even reached the state that criminalized a specific color of clothing on Sundays, or the one where a judge actually cited a 200-year-old animal ordinance to rule on a modern lawsuit. If this list is hitting different than you expected, the subscribe button is right there. No pressure. Just don't say we didn't warn you about what's coming. Number 11. In Hawaii, coins are not allowed to be placed in your ears. Hawaii revised statutes make it unlawful to place coins in one's ears in public. A 1931 law targeting street performers concealing coins during illusion acts near tourist areas. Officials classified it under nuisance codes rather than performance regulation. That distinction matters. Nuisance classifications carry no expiration and cannot be overridden by county entertainment permits. Number 12. In Maine, it's illegal to have Christmas decorations up after January 14th. A Maine statute sets January 14th as the legal deadline for removing Christmas trees and decorations from any premises. The 1887 law followed fires caused by dried pine near open flames. Enforcement is essentially non-existent, but the statute was cited in a 2019 insurance dispute where a landlord challenged a tenant's fire damage claim. Number 13. In Louisiana, it's illegal to gargle in public. New Orleans Municipal Code prohibits public gargling, targeting early 1900s patent medicine vendors who gargled flavored solutions on streets to attract customers. The ordinance was created to curb both the spectacle and sanitation risk. It was last referenced in a 2003 French Quarter vendor licensing dispute that quietly settled out of court. Number 14. In Washington state, it's illegal to harass Bigfoot. Washington's Skamania County Ordinance 69-01 makes it a felony to kill or harass Sasquatch. Initially a tourism stunt, it was written in fully enforceable legal language. In 1984, the county classified Bigfoot as an endangered species. No court has struck it down, making it the only law protecting a creature science hasn't confirmed exists. Number 15. In Arizona, it's illegal to let a donkey sleep in a bathtub. Safford, Arizona prohibits donkeys from sleeping in bathtubs. A legislative cousin of Georgia's version, but with one critical difference. Arizona's law targets sleeping specifically. A donkey standing in a bathtub is technically legal. The distinction was deliberate. The ordinance was drafted by an attorney, arguing sleeping animals create abandonment liability never previously applied to livestock. Number 16. In Connecticut, a pickle must bounce to be legally sold. Connecticut officials in 1948 required pickles to pass a bounce test before being certified fit for consumption, a real standard enforced after merchants sold bacterially contaminated pickles. The test measured fermentation integrity. Connecticut's agricultural department retired the test in 2001 without repealing the statute. The bounce requirement technically remains in state food safety code. Number 17. In Indiana, it's illegal to attend a public event while wearing a fake mustache that causes laughter. Alabama code prohibits wearing disguises that provoke laughter inside a church. The law followed documented disruptions during 1890s revival meetings where costumed pranksters derailed services. Courts upheld it twice in modern challenges, ruling that houses of worship retain special jurisdiction over behavioral disruptions regardless of First Amendment protections governing public spaces. Number 18. In New Jersey, it's illegal to slurp soup. Bergen County, New Jersey has an ordinance prohibiting loud soup consumption in dining establishments. Drafted in 1933 after noise complaints against a diner frequented by factory workers, escalated to 3 court hearings. Legal analysts cite it as an early example of municipalities regulating involuntary bodily sounds, a territory courts are increasingly revisiting today. Number 19. In Kansas, it's illegal to serve wine in teacups. Topeka, Kansas prohibits serving wine in teacups, a Prohibition-era legacy when residents disguised alcohol in domestic vessels during raids. After Prohibition ended, the ordinance remained as a licensing mechanism. Kansas maintained partial statewide prohibition until 1948, 13 years after federal repeal. Topeka's teacup law quietly outlasted both, suggesting nobody in city government ever reviewed it. 19 laws down. The final one is arguably the strangest, not because of what it bans, but because of who pushed it through and why. The reason behind it reads less like legislation and more like a personal vendetta written into state code. If the last 19 convinced you, this channel is worth your time. A like before Fact 20 costs nothing. The last one is worth staying for. Number 20. In Oklahoma, it's illegal to make faces at a dog. Tulsa, Oklahoma prohibits making faces at a dog in a manner provoking aggression. The ordinance was sponsored in 1939 by a councilman whose neighbor's dog had bitten 3 children after repeated taunting. Unable to prosecute the neighbor directly, he legislated the behavior instead. Legal scholars call it a textbook case of personal grievance becoming enforceable law. Every law on this list started somewhere. A flooded county, a prankster in a church, a councilman with a grudge and a dog next door. What's unsettling isn't that these laws exist. It's that the process that created them is identical to the process creating legislation right now today in every state capital in the country. So the real question isn't why these weird laws survived. It's how many current ones will look exactly like this in 50 years.